Okay, so I just got back from another tournament, and I'm going to do something slightly different this time around. I'm actually going to do the deck list first, and then do the tournament report afterward. I feel like if I show the deck list first, then people will probably know pretty much what I'm talking about when it comes to the tournament report, even though I don't really go too much into detail on my particular matchups. Some of them are pretty straightforward. I mean, like, there was one game where I opened triple Altair, and I don't actually have to say too much about that to tell you that I lost the freaking match quite terribly. So, took Satellarknight today. Being a Sunday, I decided to just try a random tech idea or two. I'm still sort of in the experimental stages, but I've definitely come up with some things that need to be changed. So I'll go through that as I go through the deck. So, this is about as standard as it gets for Satellarknights. It's the 3 Deneb, 3 Altair. 2 Vega is definitely going down to 1. I was really weird about having 1 Vega, and then I just kept opening it. So this is definitely going down to 1. It's horrid at 2. As much as I like to have the 3 level 4 on the board, it's really rotten. And then double Unu. I still believe that it's good to have this if you don't have the Deneb, but the problem is 1800 is not really going to save it from being a really bad freaking clog if you open up multiples of those, so I'm still happy with the 2. I have the Awesome, and then I also have one Satellarknight Sirius, which I would not have actually run if I had a second copy of Constellar Diamond, but I did not, so stuck with the Sirius, and it actually wasn't too bad. I believe I did get him off once. He was sitting, for the most part though, he was kind of sitting dead in my hand a lot. I think the only reason I wanted him was because I wanted to free up some extra deck space and not have to run Dagas to Emerald. I may just have to bite the bullet and go with the Emerald anyway, but I think this will still, like, stick around just for a little bit longer, because, like, it's proven to be somewhat useful, but it's just a bit situational, I think. So that's a bit of a questionable sort of thing. I mean, I may hang on to it, I may not. I'm thinking I might, just for a little bit more testing, but it's probably not going to be in there for that long, in all honesty. So for the spells, it's triple Rotor, obviously, triple MST, must have all of the hate against certain stuff, must bring it closer to the friggin' thing, because keep putting it to one side. 2 Duality, it's fine at 2. Tech 1 Skybridge, I never saw this at all in the tournament today, so it was actually, I could not possibly tell you how the hell this did. I will probably find myself main decking a second copy, because I'm taking out the Vega, but I'm not going to be replacing it with any other monsters, so I will probably just put a second Skybridge in there. So that is those sort of things, and then into the staples is the 1 Snatch Steel, which was nice. Book of Moon, Soul Charge, Raigeki. I turned off a Vanities board with Raigeki, so the theory on that has well and truly been justified. I was quite happy with that. I can't remember if I won that game or not. Yeah, I won that game, but then I bricked game 3, and it was ugly. Then onwards to the traps. 3 Alpha, the barrier of the deck, gotta play it. Then 2 Breakthrough Skill, which I found pretty useful. I got around a couple of good stuff. I hit a disc with it. I hit Deneb maybe once or twice. Hit Mathematician. It was very handy, unlike previous tournaments. 2 Call the Haunted. Put in the work as usual. 2 Deprison. I rarely saw this, honestly. I think that this is going to have to go back up to 3. It's just really bad. I ran it at 2 today because I wanted to give Double Battle Guard Howling a crack. I got this off once against a Clifford player. That's probably the best matchup to put this thing against, because Battle Guard Howling, if you don't know what it does, if you have a warrior type that's targeted by an opponent's attack, or monster effect, monster effect or attack, targets the face that most the opponent controls, they take damage equal to that monster's original attack, and then it goes back to the hand. So that's the awesome part about this, is that it hits Clifflords. it pretty much screws them. Like, regardless of the way they're summoned, even if they are summoned with 18 attack, their original attack is still 2400 or 2800 or whatever the hell it is, so they'll still take that full amount of damage, which I thought was pretty handy. I didn't see it that often, though, so I'm probably just going to cut it because it's not really that useful. Then we have Bottomless, Warning, Soul Drain, and Compulse to finish out the main deck. I'm thinking I might actually relegate Soul Drain to the side, because I'm not really seeing it that much, and my locals is being dominated by Cliff Forts, so I only really want to have the Soul Drain for the appropriate matchup, or else it's just going to be dead, because I'm going to be getting a lot of freaking Cliff Forts, especially at the bloody regionals that my locals is actually hosting. They're hosting their first ever regionals in less than a month, so if I'm going to be playing this at that regional, because the likelihood is that I am going to be playing that regional, I don't want to have a dead card against a deck that I'm probably going to see like 70% of the total field of players. So on to the extra deck, we have the one Stellarknight Constellar Diamond. I did get this off a couple of times, and it was freaking amazing. I got this off against Shadows, and then they basically just could not do anything. They just picked up pretty much. I believe I also got this off against, I think, a Noble Knight matchup, which was actually also pretty good because of Medrout and stuff like that. So it was nice to be able to see this. 2 Traverse. I never found a need for a second Traverse, so I am probably going to cut it. I think the only reason I wanted to have the second Traverse is if I, like, in something like a BA matchup, I wanted to have just the one Traverse, send something back, make Diamond, and then if Diamond fails, I had the second Traverse as like a safety net. Today I did not need the second Traverse, but I still believe that the 2 Traverse is a very good move. I believe I actually got Deltaros on the board more often than I did the Traverse, because I just found Deltaros to be more useful in situations with its spot removal. So it happens. Like, I didn't really need to have... Most of the time I already had established boards, so I was really reluctant to use Traverse, and so I just went for either Deltaros or something else. Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon, I got this one off once against Shadows and put a bit of damage in, and then it got mind controlled, and then fusioned into a Winder. I was able to get that Winder off the board quickly, but it's kind of depressing to see that. Excalibur, this was not likely to ever be seen unless I played against Towers, because most of the time when you put 2 level 4s on the board, it's going to involve Voltaire, and so not being able to attack with your 2k beat stick is kind of depressing. Then I have the 101, which I got off a couple of times. Omega, I definitely had it in my mind when with pretty much all of my Xyz plays. Ultimately, it never came out. 2 Castell, again, I don't think I need... I think there was a situation where I was preparing to basically use the first one to bait something out and then just soul charge into the second. That first one, though, got booked, which was a bit of a thing. But I don't think he even managed to capitalize. Yeah, I don't think he capitalized at all. So I was able to just flip it back up and get effects going and everything like that. 1 Crazy Box just for Skill Drain matchup. I saw Skill Drain once, but didn't have the monsters to drop the big box. Abyss Dweller, never saw it. I probably could have made it against Shadows, but I honestly don't like it against Shadows because they can easily just beat the crap out of this thing. It's a 1700 body. It's not powerful in the slightest. This is easily good against BA and Mermail, because I know there's one guy that frequents my locals. He just sticks with the Mermail. I think he'll move on to Necrolls once it comes out, because I think he's a bit of a water fan sort of type. So, yeah, the Cowboy for game, which I actually went to win the Shadow matchup. I actually went Cowboy and then did Awesome. I'll explain that in the tournament report. Then Ragnarsir, which obviously never came out, and then I got Rhapsody off to banish a couple of Denebs. No, it didn't help me in the slightest, because I got 2-0'd by the mirror match that I did actually play, which was depressing. Then for the side deck, I played the Triple Max C. I sided this in against Cliffords just to put pressure on them for their Pendulum Summon. And I also played this against... I sided this against Noble Knights as well, and I think I wanted to just side this in against Shadows just to get some irrelevant stuff out of the deck that I didn't think was going to help me. And at the very least, with the Shadow matchup, I basically treated this as similar to an Upstart Goblin. I basically just, it was basically just 37. It basically made the deck 37 cards, because like as soon as they drop a fusion, I just go Max C. I get the one card off of it, and it was going to be a lot more useful than the Max C would be in that situation. So I felt like against certain matchups, even if they only get the one, you can still treat that as basically the equivalent of an Upstart Goblin. So that I thought was pretty nice. It just requires your opponent to have to do something in order to do it. One system down, which I did get off against Clifford. I won that game, but proceeded to lose that match. 2 spell Shattering Arrow, obviously again for Cliffords. The one time I did see it against Cliffords though, it got Night Beamed. Was it Night Beamed? Yeah, it got Night Beamed, which is depressing. 2 Magic Cylinder just for troll. I think it was just pretty much relevant to the burn aspect. It was literally there for no other purpose, so there's no reason to have it any longer unless I'm still in the trollish mood. And for this coming Thursday night, I'm not going to be doing that. Fairy Wind, I saw this once against Clifford. It was immediately blind and missteered. 2 Iron Wall, because I was expecting Infernoids. There was none, so that this was completely useless. And then Shadow Mirror, which I saw in the Shadow matchup. I had it prepared and did not need it because I already had enough outs to his stuff as it was. And there were better outs, because like obviously Warning, because obviously he dropped a Denko and I had the Warning, and Shadow wasn't going to help against that, now was it? So that would be the end of this deck list. I shall now move on to the tournament, which involved me playing this deck and was being a bit scrubby at. So yeah, see you for that.